Alright, here's another method for solving linear systems. It's called elimination, and we're going to use addition and subtraction to eliminate one of the variables. Alright, so here we are looking at example 1. We want to solve this linear system with the two equations we're given here. And what I'm looking for is, I'm looking at what the ones that have the same variable, I'm looking at their coefficients and seeing if they're the same number. Like for example, the 1x has the x's that are there both have the 2 in front of them for coefficients. So if I were to add or subtract it, they would cancel. If I looked at the y's, one has a 3 and one has a 5. If I were to add or subtract those, it wouldn't cancel. So what I'm going to do is add the second equation to the first. I'm going to take all of that and add it. So I'm just going to go straight down and by combining like terms. If we add 2x plus negative 2x, we get a 0. If we add 3y and 5y, we get 8y. If we add 11 and 13, we get 24. So then we have the equation 8y equals 24. If we want to get the y by itself, we divide by 8 on both sides, and we find that y equals 3. Then once I get that, I can go to either equation. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to rewrite the first one. I'm going to take this value for y and plug it in there. So then we get 2x plus 3, and I'm replacing the y with 3. So we get 2x plus 9 equals 11. Solve this two-step equation, subtract 9 on both sides, we get 2x equals 2. So x has got to equal 1. And if you recall, when we write the answer, we're going to write it as an ordered pair with x always coming first, y coming second. So we're going to have the intersection point being at 1, 3. Alright, so here we got another system of equations here. We're going to look to see what we can eliminate. So if you look at the coefficients, the numbers in front of the x, we have a 4 and a negative 2. Well, if we add or subtract there, the x's are not going to eliminate. If we look at the y, the coefficient is a negative 3, and the other coefficient is a positive 3. Well, if we were to add negative 3 and positive 3, that would get 0. That would eliminate. So we're going to add the first equation to the second equation. So when I do 4x plus negative 2x, we get 2x. When we do negative 3y plus positive 3y, we get 0. And when we take 5 plus negative 7, we get negative 2. So now we've got negative 2x equals negative 2 divided by 2, and x is going to be negative 1. Going to take either equation, doesn't matter. I'm just going to rewrite the first one. Take what I know, x equals negative 1, plug it into the equation, so we get 4 times negative 1 minus 3y equals 5. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Everything else stays the same. Two-step equation here, so we're going to add 4 to both sides. Negative 3y equals 9. So if we divide both sides by negative 3, y is going to equal negative 3. And again, we're going to write our answer as an ordered pair. X coming first, y coming second. So we've got negative 1, negative 3 is where those two lines are going to intersect. Alright, so here we got two equations, and if we look at the x's, we got 4x and 5x. Well, if we add that, that would give us 9x. That doesn't eliminate. If we subtract it, it would give us negative 1x. That doesn't eliminate. So I'm going to look at the y's. We have 3y and 3y. Well, if we added those, 3y and 3y would give us 6y, so adding doesn't eliminate it. But if we did 3y minus 3y, that's going to give us 0 and it's going to eliminate. So what we're going to do is take the second equation and subtract it from the first. Okay. Now I want to be careful here. I'm going to take the first equation, since we didn't do anything to it, and leave it exactly the same. The second equation, I got the negative sign outside the parentheses. We want to subtract the second equation from the first, which means we got to change the sign of everything in the second equation. So I'm going to change the sign of everything. Okay. Now we look at that. So we got 4x minus 5x gives us negative 1x. Positive 3y and negative 3y give us 0. 2 and 2 give us 4, so we have negative x equals 4. Well, divide by negative 1 on both sides and we get x equals negative 4. Pick any of the other equations, doesn't matter. I'm going to rewrite the first one. Take what I already know, x is negative 4, plug it in. So we have 4 times negative 4 plus 3y equals 2. That gives us negative 16 plus 3y equals 2. Going to add 16 to both sides to get 3y equals 18, which means y has got to be 6. So we're going to write our answer as an ordered pair. X coming first, y coming second, so we have negative 4, 6. Right, so here in this example of linear systems, we've got the first equation, the x and the y are on the same side of the equation. The second equation, the y and x are on different sides. We're going to have to first get the equations to look similar. So in the second equation, I'm going to move the x from the right side to the left side. So I want to move this over there. Since I'm not doing anything to the first equation, I'm going to leave it as is. The second equation is the one that I want to change, so I want to subtract 3x on both sides. So we get 3x plus 4y equals 14. Now looking at that, the x, the coefficients, there's 8 and negative 3. Well, if I add those, that gives me 5x. If I subtract them, it gives me 11x. So that doesn't eliminate the x. So I'm going to look at the y. We have negative 4y and positive 4y. If we add that, it's going to eliminate. So let's do that. 8x minus 3x is 5x. Negative 4y and positive 4y give us 0. And then negative 14 and 14, or I'm sorry, negative 4 and 14 give us 10. So we have 5x equals 10, divide both sides by 5. So x is going to equal 2. So I'm going to take the second equation here, and this time, because it doesn't really matter, you can take the first or the second. Going to take what I know, x equals 2, and plug it into the equation. So we got 4y equals 3 times 2 plus 14. So 4y equals 6 plus 14. 4y equals 20. So y is going to equal 5. Again, we're going to write our solution as an ordered pair. So x always comes first, y comes second. So we've got 2, 5 is our answer.